Hey everyone, welcome to this weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast for the week of January 23rd to the 29th of 2023. Alright, so this week we are coming off of the new moon which we had last Saturday, and so we are slowly building momentum in this lunar month coming into this week, but certainly building that as we go through it. And then at the end of the week around Saturday, we do enter into the first quarter moon, which is great for more action and really implementing things. By the later part of the week, things should be clear in terms of what is being implemented this lunar month, how to do so, and perhaps taking the actions to do just that. Now, the aspects are a bit light this week. Most of the important aspects are concentrated around the Sunday time period, the important ones anyways. We have the Sun trining Mars on Sunday and Mercury trining Uranus. So nice combination here, two easy aspects with the trines. We could notice a good weekend for perhaps a bit of that assertiveness with a trine to Mars, a bit of directness, initiative, and with a trine up to Uranus, maybe a bit of thinking outside the box with Mercury, doing things a little bit differently, getting outside that comfort zone. And that is emphasized this week because Venus is going to start to enter into Aquarius at the early part of the week. So we are going to start to value and enjoy more of that Aquarius/Uranus kind of energy. So this is good for, again, experimenting, having new experiences, and just getting outside the box a little bit with our enjoyments and relationships when talking about Venus. All right, so let's go and take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. Alrighty, so here is the sky for this week. We're going to look at this for each day of the week, starting first with Monday, January 23rd. And as you can see here, we are using the visible sky on this channel, which is very different from mainstream astrology. The signs will change, and so if you do notice the sign placements are different, then definitely check out that link down below for more information on using the visible sky called True Sidereal Astrology. All right, so let's do a bit of a recap coming into this week. Again, we are coming off of just that new moon last Saturday, so it is still very early in the lunar cycle coming into the week. If there's still new intentions, if there's still new things that you're planting for the lunar month, it is still great to do so this early part. But it is a newer energy now. The sun has shifted into Capricorn. We had the new moon right on the cusp between Sagittarius and Capricorn. So there is starting to be more of a focus on perhaps things that do take time in our life. Capricorn is all about thinking about, viewing life through the lens of the long term, right? And what takes time, patience, and perseverance. And so it's a great energy to incorporate this time of the year, as it always is when the sun is here. But certainly now, with this new lunar month starting to build momentum. Venus is leaving here. She's going to leave and start to go closer to Aquarius around Tuesday. And so there's a shift of value happening here. She's been in Capricorn, which has been a value on this more, perhaps, responsible or mature energy. Or productive or disciplined energy that Capricorn is about, usually in our relationships, our values with Venus. But that is starting to shift so slowly as we get into Tuesday and then Wednesday and onwards, starting to notice more of a value of Aquarius. And this will be activated Monday and Tuesday as well, because the moon will be shifting into Aquarius Monday and Tuesday. So really this early part of the week, noticing that shift, perhaps valuing and enjoying more of the Aquarius individual self-expression. Aquarius is all about connecting to that side of ourselves that does want to, be an individual and express that individuality. And of course, in also doing so, recognizing where we can contribute to things greater than ourselves, right? Because it really is our friends, our groups, the world at large that needs all of us to be our individual selves and to contribute that individual spark to the greater whole. So probably noticing themes around this, not only with the individual self-expression, but perhaps a good time to start to enjoy some of those network circles, some of that contributing kind of energy, and again, just shaking things up in a bit of that visionary way that Aquarius often does. All right, so with that, we still have Mercury in Sagittarius, so it's still good to be thinking about the bigger picture, expanding our mental horizons with Mercury here, which makes it good for as it has been all types of philosophy, abstract ideas, bigger picture meanings of life, possibilities, potentials. And so there is still that spirited energy, and it is building momentum as Mercury has just recently gone direct again. And so he is just slowly moving forward, but certainly that fiery energy is involved with the mind as well. And speaking of fiery energy, Mars has been taking his very long transit of Taurus, of course. So the past, what has been almost 6 months, will be this energy of taking things slowly and steadily with Taurus. Now, Mars is also just slowly building momentum. He also recently just went direct, a little bit before Mercury, back on the 13th, but just slowly building momentum. Mars in Taurus is all about taking things one step at a time. And although Mars is that fiery side that does have needs, goals, and wants to take initiative with things, Taurus has been this reminder to stop and smell the roses, take things one step at a time, and take that more grounded approach to things. So that's really the collective lesson here with a lot of this fiery energy, but it is moving forward. And so anything that does require that slow and steady approach is certainly building momentum, and will continue to do so here this week. Also, mustering up those inner resources. This has been a big part of it too, cultivating those inner strengths, self-reliance, self-worth, and perhaps even some of those natural talents or values, natural gifts that Taurus can help us cultivate. All right, so that's really the most important stuff, in terms of the bigger picture, but let's take a little bit of a deeper dive looking at now these day-by-day energies. All right, so Monday and Tuesday, as I said, the moon will be in Aquarius, so there is still a bit of that progressive energy, especially now that Uranus has gone direct. Now he has to build his momentum, but slowly moving some of that visionary, progressive, innovative energy forward with these transits, Venus in Aquarius, Uranus direct, Moon in Aquarius. Okay, the later part of Tuesday, we do have the Sun sextiling Jupiter, nothing major, but just a little bit of an opening for a bit of that spirited energy, much similar to that Mercury in Sagittarius. So let's say Tuesday, Wednesday, good time to expand those horizons. In this case, not necessarily just mentally, but also perhaps quite literally could be a good day for adventure or a little bit of optimism, inspiration, jovialness, right? A little bit of expansion there, just available. Sextiles are nothing major, but there's a door opening there to utilize some of that energy, particularly Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, once we do get to Wednesday, we do have the middle part of the week with the moon in Pisces, which does add to a bit of that watery energy. So even though as we go through the week, there will be more of that momentum slowly building, this middle part, Wednesday through Friday, is very good for being present. Pisces is all about connecting to the ethers, connecting to our inner world, our emotions, feelings, but also our soul fundamentally, and our intuition and our imagination. And so just a good time that while it is still a sort of building of yang energy in the lunar month, building of momentum, still checking in and being connected with our soul and the spiritual dimensions of life. And so great to do this. Any themes around having more peace in our life, spirituality, going with the flow, imagination, could be good to cultivate while the moon's here this middle part. All right, and then towards the end of that moon in Pisces, we do have Mercury squaring Chiron again, because Mercury is now direct, so this is the last and final contact with this one. So Chiron is the healer comet. In a square, it can be a little bit challenging to do some of that healing stuff, but very constructive, especially in the final contacts like this, after we've already had Mercury pass over this point in the sky twice before. So as we get into this Thursday and Friday time period, it is really good to challenge ourselves with healing, especially if it is in the context of communication in any way, or learning in any way, or sharing our knowledge in any way. So anything involving Mercury, which is the mind and communications, is getting that contact with healing Chiron. And the square makes it good to challenge ourselves to integrate this kind of stuff. And even learning about healing, or using the mind to uncover the deeper world, can also be a good way of working with this. But very likely starting to feel quite rejuvenated and quite healed as a result of this coming out of that Friday and into the weekend time period. And the weekend is certainly where we start to come to the more action-oriented phase of the lunar cycle. Saturday and Sunday, the moon will be in the square position with the sun and starting to get into fiery Aries. And so at least here Saturday and the early part of Sunday, again, great time of taking initiative with things. We'll probably notice more of a theme around taking that initiative and that more active or assertive or direct energy. And again, in that first quarter moon, it's already good to sort of challenge ourselves to do that. We may come to our first challenges of the lunar cycle in terms of whatever started a week prior to this, but it's good, again, to challenge ourselves. And in this way, it becomes very constructive. And this really is the building phase of the cycle, Saturday, Sunday, and even into early next week, in terms of what we could see come to a harvest once we come to the full moon, which will be a week from this Saturday time period. All right, so good for that, and noticing themes around that initiative kind of energy. And the later part of Sunday, the moon will start to shift into Taurus, and so, just a little bit of a prelude into early next week. There is this groundedness reminder that Mars in Taurus, taking things slowly and steadily. But certainly some nice aspects here, pretty much all Sunday and increasing as the day unfolds for most of us. The sun, the vital life force of ourselves, is in good harmony to that assertive Mars. So we could be feeling a dose of that confidence or assertiveness or action, at least as wind in our sails with this trine. And also Mercury, who is, again, helping us think outside the box or think bigger, let's say with Sagittarius, is really helping us think outside the box now with a trine to Uranus. So it could be great for having new experiences, different connections in our day-to-day life, a different routine, perhaps even, again, thinking and communicating in a way that is a little bit innovative or outside the norm. And so good to stretch that a little bit. There's a lot of support to do that. And again, it's nice to see these two planets in good harmony here, two very vital planets like the Sun and Mercury. All right, so that is the week in a nutshell. Most important thing is just slowly building momentum in the new lunar month early in the week. As the week unfolds into the later part, starting to notice that it is good for that action initiative and starting to challenge ourselves in this lunar cycle. We do have some nice openness here this early part of the week for a bit of that inspiration, perhaps with Sun sextile Jupiter, but more importantly, the early part of the week, noticing more of that Aquarian energy. So the visionary side, the progressive side, that individual self-expression probably starting to come through in multiple areas of our life. Then this middle part, perhaps good to challenge ourselves a little bit with that healing energy. Nothing major, but again, finalizing what that Mercury retrograde was in part about. And so challenging ourselves towards healing, particularly with mind and communication matters, can be very constructive. And this is where we start to get into that more action-oriented phase of the cycle, especially as we get into Saturday and the moon comes out of a little more of a watery Pisces and into more of a fiery kind of Aries, which closes off the week with some nice support from that sort of fiery energy with Sun trine Mars and a bit of that, again, visionary energy, in this case with Mercury trine Uranus. All right, so everyone, have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click the like button if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're not yet signed up for MTZ Insiders, it is a free newsletter. We do get these videos released first before YouTube and extra content not normally released on YouTube. So if you are not yet signed up, definitely check out that link down below. It's absolutely free. But again, thank you again for all of your support. And I'll see you all next time for the next astrology forecast. Take care.